swiftly as possible. Our nation's children deserve no less.
My Lords, I'm pleased to make a short contribution to this debate on the Queen's speech, declaring my interest in the Register, particularly as a trustee of the Centre for Mental Health and the Prison Reform Trust, and as an honorary fellow of the Royal College of Speech and Language Therapists. I'd like to narrowly focus my remarks today on the proposed publication of a draft Mental Health Act reform bill, especially the parts of such a draft bill that relate to the interface between healthcare and the criminal justice system. But first, a general comment on the proposed draft bill, which emanates from Sir Simon Wesley's excellent independent review of the Mental Health Act 1983. I agree with the view of the Centre for Mental Health in response to the Queen's speech, when it said, the Mental Health Act needs to be updated to uphold people's rights, minimise the use of coercion, put advanced choice documents on a legal footing, and ensure more people get access to advocacy. It needs to curb the use of community treatment orders. The bill is a chance to enshrine children's rights more clearly within the Act and to ensure that people in prison are not forced to wait for weeks and months or years for an urgently needed hospital bed. I completely agree. So may I ask the Minister, when closing this debate, to be more precise on when the draft bill will be published, and also to confirm how this House will be involved in the scrutiny of the bill. Turning to some aspects of the relationship between policing and the Mental Health Act, Sir Simon made a number of recommendations, including by 2020-23-24, investment in mental health services, health-based places of safety and ambulances should allow for the removal of police cells as a place of safety in the Act, and ensure that the majority of people detained under police powers should be conveyed to places of safety by ambulance. This is obviously subject to satisfactory and safe alternative health-based places of safety being invested in and in place. And he crucially recommended that NHS England should take over the commissioning of health services in police custody, a recommendation I made in my independent report to Government in 2009. There is no mention of these points in the commentary to the Queen's speech on the bills issued by the Prime Minister, but hope and expect that they will be included in the draft bill for proper scrutiny. Secondly, in relation to Sir Simon's recommendations around patients in the criminal justice system, he made it clear that prison should never be used as a place of safety for individuals who meet the criteria for detention under the Mental Health Act. I agree, and again, they must be included in the bill. Further, he recommended that the time for referral for a first assessment to transfer should have a statutory time limit of 28 days. He suggested that this could be split into two new sequential statutory time limits of 14 days each, one from the point of initial referral to a first psychiatric assessment, and secondly, from the first psychiatric assessment until the transfer takes place. This is a far more elegant proposal than a similar one I made in my report, and it's pleasing to note that the Government have responded positively to this proposal. But the devil will be in the detail, and these and other recommendations must be fully scrutinised by this House and then debated when the bill is introduced into Parliament. So I welcome the intention to finally introduce a draft mental health reform bill, and I echo first the words of the Royal College of Speech and Language Therapists, who rightly pointed out, while supporting the reforms, that, and I quote, understanding and being understood is central to all four of the key guiding principles of the proposed reforms. Therefore, the communication needs of people assessing mental health services must be identified and supported. This must include them having access to speech and language therapy when required. And finally, secondly, the words of the Royal College of Psychiatrists, also welcoming the proposed reforms to improve patient care and increase safeguards. It states that it cannot be emphasised enough that they are not deliverable without the required investment in the psychiatric workforce, and that the government must continue to invest in stretched community services, ensure proper capital funding to fix dilapidated, often unsafe buildings used for mental health services, and ensure there are enough mental health staff to meet demand, equipped with the right skills and support. This will be the underlying challenge the government must face when we deliberate this proposed bill.